Hello. So today I'll be talking about A-level electronics. In A-level physics, so the basic things you have to remember is that what we'll study in A-level physics in electronics chapter. So in electronics chapter, we'll just study this sensing device. We need to study only 4 sensing devices that are piezoelectric transducer, light dependent resistor, thermistor, and metal wire stringers. You have to focus mostly here because you have to do a lot of numerical problem of this metal wire stringers. So this is very much important. And then after, there is one thing. One thing is that sensing device, processor and output device. So sensing device is the input device. So these all are input devices, and processor, and this is output. So in A-level physics, we will study all these sensing devices and processor and output device. Okay, and next point is that basically what is sensor? So in a simple language, what is sensor? What is the electronic sensor? So electronic sensor. Okay, let's say. So electronic sensor. So electronic sensor is a device. So electronic sensor is a device that produces an output, That output is a volt, in volt, produces output in response to input. So actually, how this works? So this is the sensing device. Let's say this is sensing device. For example, this is LDR. Let's say this is LDR. So what happens? So this LDR gives response in something as an output. Response as an output when the input is supplied as a voltage. Okay, so input is supplied as a voltage. So device that produces an output board. So it also needs output board. So in output as a volt, and in response to, so when you give input from here, it produces output as a volt. So this is the one example of sensing devices and how it works. I will describe this more in later. And then after, but remember, this electronic sensor will be asked in A-level physics mostly as definition. That you need to give. You need to answer what is electronic sensing device or what is sensing devices, and what is transducer too. Okay, so I'll talk. So first, let's go back. What is transducer? You will also study this in ultrasound, but in ultrasound, I like to talk about the Davidson. In Christian book. So in Christian book, they have just defined the little concept of ultrasound, not much more that. But in Davidson book in electronics, you will know detail about transducer. So I would like you to prefer to study Davidson book rather than Christian. Okay, so a transducer. So the transducer is so actual function of transducer is from one form of energy to another form. So this actually changes the one form of energy to another form. So in definition, you have to answer that transducer is any device that changes one form of energy to another form. So these are the definition of transducer. So in exam you can even write this: any device that changes one form of energy to another form. Just imagine that a transducer actually it can be microphone too, it can be other kind of that the device that can change one form of energy to another form. Can even write like that. Okay, so this is the transducer. Okay, so we'll discuss now about piezoelectric transducer. So piezoelectric transducer. So piezoelectric transducer, P-I-E-Z-O, piezoelectric transducer. So what is piezoelectric transducer? Previously I talked to you about transducer. You can even write in exams if there is question like what is piezoelectric transducer, you can say any the devices that can transfer or that can change one form of energy to another form. You can write like that. But what is piezoelectric effect? This is different. You need to answer like if in exam like they might ask you about what is piezoelectric crystal or piezoelectric effect. Piezoelectric effect. So piezoelectric. So actually, this is the this is the piezoelectric form. This is a piezo. So when we give PD, it get compressed and it get compressed and like what call this, it gets compressed also and like it gets stressed also, it gets stressed. So this is the piezoelectric simple thing. And the piezoelectric effect is like some crystal, these are some crystal. This is the some crystal such as quartz, okay, such as some crystals such as quartz produce an electric field. Like this is the quartz. Let's say this is the quartz. Here are some crystal like quartz, and this produce an electric field. This produce an electric field. So an electric field when a force is applied, like when you give PD, force is applied, and the shape of the crystal changes. So this is the actual piezoelectric effect. So some crystals such as quartz produce